Welcome to the Gap Mastermind. How's everyone today? In the chat quickly, drop in the chat where you're tuning in from and a win from this week so far, big or small. We love celebrating your wins. So if we could see it in the chat, who's here today? Santorini. Wow, okay, welcome. Tampa. Awesome, awesome. Share your wins. Papka closing. Today is the win. Yes, yes, yes. Orlando. I'm tuning in from Orlando as well. So glad to have you all today. Winter Garden, Haines City. I love it. Puerto Rico and the villages. We're coming from all over. Two from Puerto Rico. I love that. Puerto Rico representing in the house. I love it. Well, we have an exciting Gap call today, and it's the last Monday for July. Can you believe it? And, let me ask you a question. What would your business be like if you hustled from a place of peace and not pressure? What if your systems served your life and not the other way around? If that made you lean in a little closer, then you're in the right room today. So today's guest is the definition of heart meets hustle. He's a 3-time icon agent, team leader, the CEO of Smart Hire VA, where he helps agents to scale their systems with virtual leverage and soul. He's also the host of the Leverage Lounge podcast, where he drops weekly gems on how to grow without grinding yourself into the ground. But beyond the business wins, he's a mastermind facilitator, a champion of collaboration, and most importantly, a proud husband and dad whose family fuels everything that he's done. A great friend of mine, and returning now to Gap, please help me welcome Mike Collier. Mike, take it away.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Man, listen, I felt
Welcome
like there was a
back.
drum roll that was supposed to come out with that one. That was good.
Got
Thank
you.
you, Rebecca. Amen. Amen. Well, hey, I appreciate you all for showing up. Man, it is going to be a great time together. I appreciate all of you for continuing to show up on the Gap Mastermind. I see a lot of familiar faces that I see on here very often. And this is one of the best communities ever, whether you're tuning in from Puerto Rico or Davenport. It is one of the best communities that truly strives to bring you nothing but value and growth to lead to your prosperity and your peace. And so today we're going to be talking a lot about what that looks like for you to have peace in your doings and your working. Because one of the things that I continue to see is, here's one of the things I continue to see. I'm seeing you guys showing up, in real life here on virtual, on our stages. But here's where we really want you to show up. We really want you to show up to build at sea. Buildatsea.com. How many of you guys show in the chat? Put some fire in the chat. Put some ships in the chat. Some water in the chat. Are you on the ship with us next week? Let's go, Gino said. Yes. Make sure if you don't know that you're going, you're still kind of on the fence. I know that we're over 80% or probably 90% now sold out. So there's a few rooms left, but make sure you're going. I personally am going. I've already been putting it in my stories. I put it on my Facebook feed, all of that kind of stuff. And I've already influenced a few people to go. See, here's the thing that you got to understand. You are an influencer. Whether you realize it or not, you yourself, you watching this right now, you don't see it. Maybe you see it. You are an influencer. And so people are watching what you're doing. And so if you go to www.buildatsea.com, you can be one of the people on the boat getting all of these gems that we're going to be bringing. Amazing speakers. I've seen the lineup. I'm actually one of your hosts, along with Miss Beautiful Rebecca Soto. And so, and Gino, of course, and Josue, and some of the names that you guys know. We're going to be out there, but we want to see you there too. Don't take these opportunities for granted. I didn't go last year. I had a schedule conflict, but I made it a point. I said last year, I will not miss the next one. And I held myself to it, and I'm going to be on the ship. So I'm hoping to see many of you guys on there. I saw some chat. I saw some boats and ships and waves and fire emojis. I'm hoping that's not all of everybody who's going to be out there who's already on this call. But if you're thinking that you want to go ahead and check that out. All right. And I'll remind you before we get off. Okay. So today we're going to talk about heart-led hustle. Let me share my screen here so we can get off into this thing. Okay. Give me just a second so I can present. All right. So today, can everybody see my screen? Are we good? Gina, we good? All right, good. All right. So today I'm bringing you guys heart-led hustle. This is about your culture, your clients, and connection. Now, it's not very popular. Let's just be honest. It's not very popular for people to talk about, you know, heart when we're talking about sales and crushing it and hitting our goals and hustling. That's not very a popular topic. It kind of seems opposite. But I want to tell you that it actually is the opposite of opposite. Yeah, it actually goes in line. Because one of the problems is that so many agents actually end up trying to hustle their way into success, but they leave the heart behind. And that's one of the most important parts. And so today I want to help you tune into that a bit more and show you how bringing your heart first into your hustle will actually take you to the level of success that you're trying to reach. And so the first thing I want to do is take you back to a time where we were younger. How many of you guys remember being on the court? Maybe you're on a basketball court or you're on a soccer field or whatever it is, and they choose two team captains, and you get to choose. Well, you don't get to choose, but there's two team captains choosing, and we're all like, "Oh, pick me, pick me!" You guys remember that? Pick me, pick me. And it's also funny to me that now, like, being the pick me guy or the pick me girl is like such a bad thing. But the truth of the matter is we all want to be selected. We're all vying to be selected. And so you have this, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me. And then it starts. The first captain's like, I'll take him, and I'll take her, and I'll take him. And then you're like one of the last people there. How many of you guys have ever been this kid though? The one who didn't get picked. Can you be honest? Show of hands. How many of you guys have been that kid that didn't get picked before? That doesn't feel so good, does it? It feels like it's a rejection of you. And what we don't realize is that sometimes that trauma actually carries into our adulthood. We try to do things that stand out. We try to be recognized for our performative actions. We're trying to get that trophy, win number one, be the best all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't hear me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with it if you're doing it for external applaud. If it's not something that actually is bringing you joy. One of my favorite quotes is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins said, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure." I've been there before. I've hit certain levels and hit, won certain trophies and awards, only to feel like, man, was that it? Like, was that all that was there? Is that all that was that I've been working for? I didn't spend time with my wife, my kids, my family, and then this is how it feels. So here's the thing: many of us were searching for success. True. We believe that hustle is the way that we're going to get there, and at the end of the day, many of us were just chasing the titles. But these are all empty if there isn't soul. There's some level of heart that goes into it. And so one of the things that's true about a lot of top performing agents, and Veronica, you've been around for a long time, so you can attest to this. There's a lot of very high level agents, team leaders, brokers who are constantly chasing that next level, but they're on their second, third marriage. Maybe they're kids. didn't really grow up with them or see them in the household a lot. And so they got the things, they got the titles, they got the money, they got the influence. But did they leave behind the people that they said that they were doing it for along the way? That's what I want to help you guys to do. I don't want you to burn out. See, here's the question that I have for you. Oh, what if the game wasn't about proving yourself, but it was actually about remembering who you are in the first place? What if the game isn't about being selected by external individuals, but about remembering that it's not about being selected, but it's about remembering the fact that you were chosen to begin with. That's what set you out on this path. The first pillar that I want to discuss with you is being authentic. What does it look like to be authentic? Authenticity starts with telling the truth, not just to others, but most importantly, to yourself. See, this kid is telling himself all kinds of stuff. He's telling himself that he's not worthy, that he's not good enough, that maybe the other kids don't like him. Maybe he's just, maybe he should just give up and just do something else. How many of you guys have ever been there before? You take a L and you start wondering if this is actually even for you. Is real estate even for me right now? I'm getting beat up. My buyers are ghosting me. I've been on these listing presentations. I've met with all these sellers and nobody's selecting me. Nobody's choosing me. I'm taking all these L's and what is it adding up to? Maybe I should be doing something else. Well, you know who else could have thought that? This guy right here. Everybody knows who that is, right? The Michael Jordan. See, Michael Jordan, 12,345 shots, 300 games, y'all, and 26 times. What does that represent? Somebody take themselves off mute. Tell me what that represents. You don't know? That's 12,345 shots that he missed. He's the number one player in the world.
Never did
Yes,
know
even
that.
better than LeBron, but don't get me started. Okay, he's this is the true GOAT. All right,
He did not give up.
12,045 shots. Don't give up. You can't give up. 300 games that he lost. Look at this: 26 times that he was trusted by his coach and his teammates, where he had the game-winning ball in his hand to take that game-winning shot, and he missed it. And he said, and that's why I succeed. I succeed because I keep stepping up to the plate every single time, knowing that there's a chance that I might not get it. I might not hit that shot, but I'm not going to back down from it. I'm going to take that shot every single time because that practice, that game-winning shot, that opportunity, that big stage is what makes me better for the next time. And I'm going to make more than I miss, but I can't be afraid to miss. See, here's one of the things about being optimistic. In order to have success, any major level of success, you have to have some level of optimism. What is optimism? It's this idea of hope. It's believing that things can be better than they might actually be right now. So some people walk through life like this, with an open hand, right? Accepting everything that God has for them. They step into the world saying, hey, listen, my hands are open. I'm ready to receive. See, here's the cool thing about this is that when you have an open hand, you can actually receive, but you can also give. You can give more of yourself. You can give love. When you're walking through life with this level of optimism, you can actually be a better problem solver when you think from a place of abundance versus scarcity. See, this is what scarcity looks like. Scarcity says, I have something in my hand that I'm not sharing with anybody else. I have complete and total control over my life and every single thing that's happening to me. How many of you guys know that that's not true? See, it's when you are thinking that you have total control over every single thing that happens to you, that's when people lose their mind. Suicide rate is at an all-time high because people are trying to control every single part of their life, and they don't know where to turn when the uncontrollable happens. And so here's how this shows up in your business. Here's how it shows up in your team. If you're a broker, here's how this shows up. It shows up in your culture. See, I believe that control kills culture. When you're like, this is how we're going to do it. I'm not taking no for an answer. This is how we're going to do it every single time, and so on and so forth. You actually kind of choke out the very culture that you want to have the open hand. You want to breed a culture of abundance, but you're walking through life with a scarcity mindset. You're treating you're treating everybody with this scarcity mindset, and it's hurting your culture. See, the culture of your business will always reflect the posture of your heart, but we don't typically think about it that way. We want to build a culture. We want to build a business. We want to build our downlines, our revenue share groups, and all this kind of stuff. But it starts with you. How are you showing up? Do you have this open door policy? And are you creating events that allow for leaders to step on a stage that you don't have to be the number one person on that stage all the time? What if you don't even step on the stage? Are you creating opportunities where others can step on a stage and share what they know, share what's on their heart? Because if that's the posture of your heart, that's where your culture of your business will be also. Who can tell me who this is? Anybody know who that is? You guys are quiet. Come on, who can tell me who that is?
Steve Jobs.
Bill Gates.
Not
Bill Gates.
Somebody said Bill Gates.
Steve Jobs.
Well, his nemesis.
Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. What is Steve Jobs famous for? Creating the very thing that you guys are probably looking at right now, or talking or texting on right now, that iPhone, right? But what you may not know is that before Apple, Steve Jobs was trying to figure out how he was going to change the world. Working in a garage with a buddy of his, and they start building computers. And he decided that he believed that every single person in the world would have access to a computer at some point. Now, keep in mind, this is in the time of supercomputers were thousands and thousands of dollars. This was almost insane to think this, but he believed it. And you may not know this, but Steve Jobs got fired from Apple. And Steve Jobs said actually it was one of the best things that could happen to him, because he went on to create Pixar. And then he ultimately ended up being rehired to Apple. But he says, as he was going through his cancer journey, he said, remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking that you have something to lose. I know that's a somber reminder, and maybe I could have given you a more lighthearted touch to this part of the presentation. But here's what's true. Optimism doesn't mean you ignore problems. It just means that you believe that there's a better solution, that you believe that the solution is worth fighting. Optimism doesn't mean you ignore problems. It just means that you believe that the solution is worth fighting for. Some people think that there's this thing of blind optimism. Oh, you just have this pie in the sky idea of how life is. You just think life is just roses, and you act like nothing's ever going to go wrong. And you act like people don't cry, or people don't. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring the problem. But the question is, do you believe that the solution is worth fighting for? See, I have this passion around what it looks like to scale businesses. I am enamored with people like Veronica and others who have taken, who took what they started with, which was many people, not much of anything, and formed it into something, and then created a platform for others to thrive on that stage with them, in that ecosystem with them, and then still said that that's not enough and decided to scale it. And so I'm still enamored with it. I'm still passionate about it, which is why I created the Leverage Lounge podcast. Now I haven't released it just yet. We're recording episodes, so I can have some in the can, so that I can get going. But this is where I'm interviewing top business leaders, creators, innovators who scaled their businesses and who are willing to open up their playbook to show us and tell us how they did it. People who are willing to say, hey, listen, I was there where you are, but I want to show you how I did it, how it's working for me in my business. Now, what's cool about this podcast is that I'm going to be doing this not just for me so that I can learn, which I will be learning along the way, but I'm primarily doing it so that my audience can actually learn how to scale a business, because I believe if you're on this call, you're a growth-minded individual. You're here to grow. You believe in scaling, but you want to do it the right way. You believe in scaling, but not at the expense of burning out. Too many people burn out because they don't understand leverage. You might be in the place right now where you know your business could be bigger than it is, but you have a control problem. It's hard for you to let other people do something that you know you can do better. So what do? You just decide to do it yourself. I'll do it myself. I know nobody's going to do it as good as me, so I'm just going to do it myself. But here's one thing, that a sobering thought that I want you to have. You can't be the CEO, the cashier, and the janitor of your business all at the same time. You got to choose one. And if you choose all three, then you'll probably be making just about as much money as the janitor is. You can't get to the C-suite like that. You are the business owner. You own your real estate company. You are the CEO of your business. So you have to act accordingly. And if you don't feel like you're the CEO of your business yet, then start acting like it. Start making those types of decisions, and make sure you lean into the Leverage Lounge podcast so you can understand how to scale. There's another pillar that I want to address. The pillar of what it feels like to, or looks like, to be loving. Anybody know who that is? Open up your mics. Come on. It's not Bill Gates.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. Fun fact, anybody know where Mr. Rogers' home is? I mean, he's not with us anymore, but did anybody know where he grew up? Winter Park, Florida. That's right. If you take the boat tour through Winter Park, you can actually see his home. But this is a man who was so loving. You guys can do a deep dive on it. There's YouTube specials. There's, I think, documentaries on Mr. Rogers. But listen to this. Mr. Rogers was so loving. He, at one point, had the #1 kids program in the world. How many of you guys, be honest, show of hands, how many of you guys grew up on Mr. Rogers? Put some fire emojis in the chat. Like, we remember Mr. Rogers. He had the #1 show in the world. But look, he refused to advertise junk food to kids. He would not promote junk food. He wasn't willing to sell himself at the expense of selling his soul. Another thing, Mr. Rogers swam every single morning and prayed for people by name. When he met them, he asked them, is there anything I can pray for you for? Strangers. People, oh, Mr. Rogers, can you take a picture of my daughter? Is there anything I can pray for you guys for? How are you showing up in your business? Do you pray? Do you subscribe to some type of spiritual belief? Are you sharing that with other people? Look at this. Mr. Rogers weighed 143 pounds his entire adult life. Does anybody know why that is? Because when you look at the numbers, guys, this is going to blow your mind. The numbers 143 stands for I love you. What was Mr. Rogers, man? He was a giant of his time, but he acted like a servant. Love in business looks like generosity without strings. It's people over platforms. It's presence. It's boundaries. There's profit in it, but it's also about legacy. That's what I'm focused on. I want to be present, not just in my business, but in my family. I don't want my kids to live in some big house and have the cars when they turn 16 because I'm able to buy them whatever I want to buy them and get them whatever I want to get them. And they know that they can rest on daddy's money and all this, right? Without me being present. You know, life is always lifing, man. We're going through some stuff in my family. There's a big bombshell announcement that we just found out in my family, and everybody just rocked everybody just yesterday. This weekend, I was dealing with it. And, you know, one thing that and this is just, you know, a moment of kind of vulnerability, but one thing that I found is that a lot of legacies, a lot of family legacies have been impacted by whether or not someone was present, whether or not the mom was present, whether or not a dad, a good dad, a responsible dad was present or not. It changes things. It helps you having that responsible guardrail, those responsible figures in your life, those people that are supposed to care about you. That's what helps you to create the boundaries. And sometimes people put profit first, but I'm hoping to try to change your mind today, just to think a little bit differently about maybe some of the decisions that you might make. Another reason why I started working on scaling is because I have a VA placement company, virtual assistant placement company. And so many successful agents that I talk to, successful business owners that I talk to, can't figure out how to get to that next level, as I mentioned earlier. And I personally got to that point. Some of you are where I was a few years ago, where I was starting out in the business. I started selling real estate in 2019, general real estate. I was doing real estate investing and all that kind of stuff before that. But I began, you know, with my general real estate business in 2019 at EXP, and I'm selling, and I'm primarily on my sphere, and I'm trying to build my business and all this. And then, you know, I started realizing that like social media was a thing that I was going to be able to harness. I'm good at it. I don't mind being in front of a camera, all that kind of stuff. And so I start trying to do it, but the problem was like there was so much to do. How many of you all still have photos and videos in your phone from last year that you meant to post, but you still haven't posted it because you can't find the time to do it? Because you don't want to sit in front of your phone for 2 hours editing that video, and you know you're supposed to, but and then some of y'all are like, I don't even know how to edit a video. Quite honestly, if I didn't have to edit a video, I'd have a lot more social content. How many of you guys feel like that? Like if I didn't have to edit, right? If I knew where to post, do I post on TikTok? Do I post on Snapchat? Do I post on Facebook or Instagram? Do I start a YouTube channel? How do I even do a YouTube thumbnail? And then there's analytics. I'll just do it old school. So I'll do open houses, and I'll door knock, and I'll make phone calls. Meanwhile, you don't make the phone calls. Or you make the phone calls, but you don't follow up. Or you make the phone calls, you follow up, and you get the client, and then you get the closing, but you forget to follow up on the closing. So now all your past clients are starting to choose other agents because you never had a system in place to follow up. You see how this works? And so if your past clients aren't repeat clients, what does that mean that you have to do? get more clients. And so if you have to keep on getting more clients in order to do the same amount of business or a little bit more business, but you're losing, there's a hole in your bucket, the logical thing to do is patch the hole in the bucket first. Because if I can start getting a lot more repeat business than focusing on new clients, that's where I start winning. Repeat business, referral business, that's where that comes from. So if you have any questions about hiring a virtual assistant, you can scan that code. I'm a CEO of smarthireva.com. And again, if you guys have any questions, even if you have a VA or if you're thinking about getting a VA and you guys just want like SOPs, like, oh, I'm thinking about hiring I don't know, a social media manager. What would I have them do? Right? I have like all these SOPs that I could share with you. Okay. But there's a guy that I want to introduce you to. If you don't know him already, some of you guys who've been at EXP for a while, you know him. His name is Rick Jiha. Rick Jiha, man. This guy was a titan at EXP. He was someone who was, I'd say, one of the sharpest dressers at his age that I probably ever met. Rick Jiha smelled good. He looked good. Whenever you went to EXPCon, or whether it was, EXPCon in Vegas, or what we used to have as EXP shareholders in Orlando, like I would seek him out every single time. The first time I saw him, I was just kind of looking like, who is that? And I got a chance to meet him, and he was just the most humble individual. A beautiful man with a beautiful heart. And I thought, well, he's a nice guy, but is he selling real estate? Then I find out, yeah, he's selling real estate, and he has a mega team out in California. And not only is he simply selling real estate, and he's one of the top producers, but guess how he was getting a lot of his business? Door knocking. I don't know how old he was when he passed, but he passed in 2023. But he was still freaking door knocking at his age. And not only was he door knocking and winning in real estate, Rick Jiha, the last time I saw Rick Jiha, he was teaching from the stage at one of our EXP events. He was teaching how door knocking works, why it works for him, how he structures his day, what it looks like to be a winner. He was a go-giver, man. He didn't walk through life like this, trying to hold it all in the grasp of his hand. He hustled with heart. He moved forward with faith, and he led with love. I get a little choked up when I talk about him because he really was a special person. There's not one person that you can talk to that knows him who wasn't touched by him in a major way. And it was in Cabo. How many of you guys went to Cabo last year? Was that last year already? Cabo. Our Cabo Mastermind, led by our fearless leader, Brent Gove. If you haven't been to Cabo, you need to go to next Cabo. Make sure you're at Cabo. Cabo 25, I know that we already have the link up and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sitting in the audience. I didn't go to Cabo the year previous, but I went that year, last year, and I'm sitting in the audience, and it's just, I mean, the crowd is electric. There's like 1,100 or 1,200 agents that are there from different brokerages, primarily EXP, and we're just, I mean, it's Cabo, and we're having a great time. We're learning, and there was this section in the presentation where Brent Gove got up and started talking about Rick Jiha. And he said that Rick Jiha was a special individual, and he said so many things about him. And he also said that they created an award in his honor. Someone who leads life and lives their life with authenticity, with optimism, and with love, and consistently shows that, and that everybody who meets that individual, an individual like him, would be touched by them and be moved. And he said, and so today we want to honor our brand new Rick Jiha Award recipient, Michael Collier. I'm like, what? It blew me it blew me away. It kind of took my breath away. I didn't expect it. Everybody's standing and they're cheering and they're like, "That's our guy." And my Global Alliance family was there, and I'm still like, I didn't want to go up to the honest truth. I didn't want to go up to the stage too soon because I wasn't sure if that was like a typo or if they didn't mean to call my name, and I didn't want to walk the walk of shame. Like, oh wait, that was for something else. We meant to say, and so. I let it sink in a bit. I go to the stage, and man, I'm just in tears, and I'm just in awe. And here's what I loved about this, y'all. Here's what I loved about this, and please hear my heart on this. What I loved about this most is that it wasn't about how many homes I've sold. It wasn't about how many agents I've attracted. It was about who I am and how I lead. That's the legacy that I care to live. That's the legacy that I not only care to leave, but to live now while I'm still breathing. One of my childhood favorite people, childhood actors that you guys know, Malcolm Jamal Warner. He was one of those guys that was a childhood star, and after the Cosby Show, he did a lot of other things, but we didn't hear from him too much. But he was never a Hollywood elite. He wasn't some A-list celebrity afterwards trying to find that level of fame again. He also wasn't the Hollywood burnout who was searching for that fame and finding it in other things. He was a husband. He was a great dad. Everybody had great things to say about him. He spoke from his heart. He was a poet. He was an author. He was still an actor. But he lived the legacy that he wanted to leave. And so my question to you is that how you're living? Are you waking up every day thinking about these two things? Who do I want to help? And how do I want to help them? It's bigger than just who am I going to call today? What closings do I have today? And how can I get more clients? And I'm not saying that that's not a part of it. But the hustle without the heart is hustling backwards. Because at the end of the day, you're going to look and say, what was this all for? And so I compel you, I implore you to consider heart-led hustle and consider connection in your culture and your clients. Because the legacy that you live today outweighs the legacy that you plan to leave tomorrow. That's my time, everybody. Any questions?
Ooh, that was amazing. That hit home. Like, I think all of us can probably, and I don't know if I speak for the group here, but we all have felt where we're just hustling, hustling, hustling. And what is it leading up to? And who are we sacrificing for this win of growing in business? But I often say, like, who do we work for? I work for my family. I work to provide a lifestyle, and I put heart into what I do. So I want to open up the mic here. Who wants to contribute something, maybe a challenge you're going through, maybe you're sharing a thought. If you have a question for Mike, we have him here. We've got 15 more minutes on this call, so I'd love to be able to hear from you all. I know some of you have connected with this message. Gino, you still on? Where you at? Veronica, join us here. Wow, just amazing.
Were there any
Amazing. Well, anyways, aha
were there
moments,
any
yes.
yeah, any aha moments, anything that you heard that resonated with you?
I know that
Was it so
I have often felt this way. Like I'm going to take it right back to the very beginning where it's like you work really hard, and I was often that person who was picked last for team sports, by the way. So I definitely related with that, and then feeling that pain of the rejection, and it sometimes reflects back in my life. And I don't know. No, I do know. It's not that I'm being picked last. It's that you put yourself in there. That trauma, you carry it with you, and you see it repeating itself, and to break that trauma, we have to get real close to why are we doing these things, and just lead, like you said, lead with love. Don't worry about everyone else. Come up with your plan, your why, and be focused on that, so that it doesn't matter. The people who come to you are attracted to you, attracted to your business. And it doesn't matter who rejects you. If you do get that rejection, they weren't meant to be in your life. And so I'm not going to feel the pain of that.
so true?
Release that. Release that.
So true. I mean, it's true for our buyer
Yes.
consultations. It's true for our listings, or the sellers that don't pick us as the listing agent. It's true for the agents that reject you. They decide not to join with you, but they join with somebody else or whatever else. Like these are life lessons that we hopefully get better at as we go through them. This is one of the reasons why we get challenged. This is one of the reasons why we have to go through the fire. I always say the fire was meant to refine you, not to burn you, right?
Mm.
And if you step into
Mm-hmm.
the fire with faith, you don't come out smelling like smoke, right?
That's
You come
right.
out bigger and better than you did before you went into it. And so some of us are facing challenges right now. And as you go through this, I know people, and maybe some of you guys can attest to this, but I know people who, when they go through things, as life is throwing curveballs at them, they dive into work. They bury themselves into work, and they're just like, you know what? This is the one thing that I can what? Control. I can't control all of that noise out there, but I can control this. And so they dive all the way in. It's like the ostrich putting his head in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Still happening. And it's going to be there when you're ready to come up for air. And you
And
think that you're going to be
mhm.
better. You think that you're going to be better because time passed. You think you're hoping that the storm will have passed. But see, you guys got to understand, like, the storms were meant for us to go through them. We're supposed to go through the storm. That's where the growth happens. And again, I personally have learned a lot of that. I've been through situations where I've had business owners or business partners who have, broken my trust. I had a business partner in 2017 who stole $125,000 out of my bank account.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
I've had agents who chose not to join with me. I've had agents who chose to leave my group, leave my team, go join some other brokerage, some other team, come back only to join another team, another downline, and you go, well, you feel like that kid that didn't get picked.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
process that right, if you don't process that correctly, it will feed into the next way, that the next conversation that you're having with an agent.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mike,
I saw,
I just have a quick follow-up question on what you just touched on, because I feel like we've all been in that stage that you want to be part of that team. You want to be part of you want to be that kid, right? And that obviously shows up in different stages of your life as you're becoming you're becoming an adult, and shows up in your business, your relationships, your marriage,
Okay.
how what I'm curious, walk me through the process, or like your process, as far as like how do you process when in business, right? Because we're on real estate, when you have that individual that wants to maybe join the team, they leave. Because we've all been there. We've all lost agents. We've all
Yeah.
lost a couple transactions to another agent. Walk me through like your thought process, and what are your next steps after that? Like, that initial,
Yeah.
damn, this happened. What's next? Like, I'm just curious to see like how you navigate through that.
It's a great question, Gino. Thanks for asking, man. I think that, well, first of all, in life, I try to carry this with me. And again, we all have faults and we all fall short, right? But I try to carry the fact that life is happening for me and not to me. The things that are happening are truly happening for me, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. And I mean, bad things happen. So sometimes in those situations, it's really hard for us to take that mindset. But I believe that we have to hold on to that. Maybe that's where my sense of optimism comes from. But I truly believe that life is happening for me. And so even when these things are happening, I do have to sit back, and I try not to respond out of emotion without processing it first. Many of us respond out of emotion, and we lash out at the person who hurt us, even if that wasn't their intention to hurt us. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. You talk to most agents who leave, they say, I had to do what was best for my family. Maybe they truly believed that was best for their family. It wasn't so much about you as much as it was about them. And so as we take that off of us, it allows us to first process it, because the emotion that we attach to things is it's supposed to be a byproduct of how we processed the input. The problem is a lot of us get the input and we go straight to emotion. We never take the process. And then we end up regretting what we said. We end up regretting what we did. And so another thing I believe is that your vibe will attract your tribe. Kind of back to what Rebecca was saying, like the people who are for you will be for you. Like the people who there's enough for us all. We all 100 of us on this call, we could all go into a recruiting event today and speak on stages, and you speak your piece, I speak mine, blah, blah, blah. The agents who are going to gravitate to you are going to gravitate to you. That's your people. It's not
Exactly.
the scarcity mindset. Go ahead.
And I want to share something too when you're done. I'm sorry if I cut you off there.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah. So like there's two ways that I look at it as well. So like number one, when we're first starting anything, we're not that great. So maybe this is a learning experience where we get better through the process. So we take a look at the situation, what happened, how could I've done something better? Now, if it wasn't that, the other part is, and also being a person of faith, is if I'm praying that God opens doors and God provides, and he is leading my business. And you may or may not be a faith, it may be something else for you, but if he is truly leading my business, when things do not go right, then I have to trust that God is leading me in another direction. He is bringing people into my organization, and he's also taking people out of my organization or my team, right? Or even clients. Sometimes I've worked with some clients that seem like a great idea in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait, this may not be a good alignment here. And so I literally had a listing the other day where everything started great, and then the seller started making some requests that were not legal, and this person is in the industry as well. And I said, I can't work with that. I'm sorry. If you have another agent that's willing to do that for you, but you know, and you have to know when the doors close for you, it's okay. Don't feel that bad. Don't feel bad. Don't take that as a rejection. Take it as God is leading me in the right direction. God is bringing me people that is meant to be for me, for my business, for my organization, whatever that is. And so we're okay when things don't work out. We're okay. We're okay. And he's always going to provide.
Amen. And you have to know that there's more. There's more. When you think of abundance, it's like I may have missed that spot. I may have missed that opportunity. It may have felt like I missed that opportunity. But sometimes when you fire that client, two more show up. And you're like, you know what? Had I spent my time
Always stand by
and my
integrity.
stress and my energy trying to focus on that one daggone client who was driving me crazy to begin with, and I knew it wasn't in alignment with my moral values and all that, like if I would have spent time with that, I would not have had time for them. Always stand by your integrity. Absolutely. And so that's where all of this comes from. That's what heart-led hustle looks like, man. It's like it's doing a heart check first. It's not being a bleeding heart and, as sappy as it might sound when you first hear it. It's like, no, let me do a heart check first. Let me check out my heart posture. What am I willing to sacrifice and what am I unwilling to sacrifice? And then what changes am I able to make based on what God is showing me, what I'm seeing? Because there is some growth. We're never perfect. We're always going to be in motion. We're always going to be, just make sure that you're failing forward. That's the key.
Michael, thank you so much. This has been an amazing Gap Mastermind today. I feel like we needed to hear that. I've been wanting to hear a message like this because I feel like the market has been tough, and it's been really tough on a lot of agents to get clients and to be able to grow and scale, to pay their dues and their debts and all these things. And so we're getting hit hard, and it's been a couple of years of a tougher market. And we needed to hear a message like this that gives us hope, that keeps us, going in the right direction, and coming from a place of authenticity, but also open hands, right? So like, don't come with a scarcity mindset, give it away, right? And so I appreciate this message a lot today. And super excited to be emceeing with you on the Build at Sea cruise. And we're just down to the last week. We have a few more cabins available. So if you have not booked, there might still be time, but you've got to register today. The link is buildatsea.com. We have a hot lineup of speakers. I'm super excited. Mike, I know that we pulled you in here at the last second, and I'm so excited that we could have you join. What does this mean for you to be on this cruise emceeing with all these amazing speakers?
I believe that proximity is power, man. And being in the room with people who think big, big thinkers change the world. I use Michael Jordan. I use Fred Rogers, Steve Jobs. Like, these are big thinkers. Don't you think that the people who surrounded themselves with them grew as well? Don't you think that if they could just eat some of the crumbs from that table, that they grew bigger and stronger, their mind expanded in ways that they never even imagined? Yeah. Steve Jobs came up with the idea that people could take a computer and put it into a handheld device that we ended up calling an iPhone. If you don't surround yourself by big thinkers consistently, because there's always noise. As soon as you go back home, there's noise. As soon as you step back in front of the phone, start making those calls, it's noise. You start making those, sitting in your appointments, there's noise. There's always that, like Ryan Stewman always calls it the force of average. There's always that force of average that's trying to bring you back to center, help you be less than you could actually be. So you have to consistently be drinking from this cup.
I think you got to be plugged in. You have to be plugged in to the right partners, to the right energy source, plugged into God, but also plugged in. It's who is around you that is going to help elevate you. So these are the rooms that you want to get in, and you have to be bold enough to get in the room. Don't think that you can't be in here. We want you here. So if you can join us, buildatsea.com. We'd love to have you. We're super excited. We're getting ready. It's the last, less than 7 days now till we board. And it's going to be an amazing time. We'll be sharing lots of takeaways when we we get back, but we want you to be part of this. So register today. Do not delay. There might be a few opportunities, and you're welcome to bring your family. Bring your family, bring your team, bring everyone that you know. Join us at buildsc.com. So we're super excited. Everyone have an amazing, powerful week, and we'll see you next week, same time. Adios.
Take care, everybody. Have a magical day.